Hello and welcome to week 7 of our psychology seminar. And as you might realize, I'm sort of rolling this out as I'm creating it, so you're a little bit of my guinea pig, sort of like being part of an experiment in psychology. But I'm pretty excited about this particular part of the class. We've been looking at essentially what are you getting out of this? You're going to major in psychology with an associate's degree of science in psychology. What do you get? And so we spent last week talking about the essential learning outcomes for everybody at KVCC, and then we looked at how I'm using course material and assignments to make sure that you are getting the particular skill that you need according to the American Psychological Association. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit and look at, what else do you get out of this? What are you getting out of going to college? And what does a potential employer look for? And I introduced to you in this week the 21st century skills. Now, these 21st century skills came out of a lot of research that was done working with people, leaders in enterprise and whatnot. And so what are they looking for the modern day workplace? What are they looking for in terms of skills and knowledge and when by the time you get out of school and you go into the workplace, things have changed already because technology and value systems and culture is changing so rapidly. So those business leaders and the researchers that are putting this together kind of said, okay, what does a person need to be successful in the modern workplace? And this is what we're going to focus on today. So let's take a look at them as they appear in the course right now in Brightspace. And what we have a little introduction to 21st century skills, the modern workplace. That's a program like psychology actually is ideal for providing opportunities to learn these kinds of skills because psychology is so diverse. That's really one of the great outcomes of majoring in psychology. So the 21st century skills are divided into 3 areas, and the first one that we see is learning skills. Now these are basically adaptive skills. When the workplace is changing, how do I know that my employees, or if you're an entrepreneur, how do I know that I can be flexible to the changes that are happening in society? So we want to make sure that you're really good at critical thinking, creativity, basically devising new solutions to problems, working with other people, collaboration, and communicating. These are key skills for you to be able to adapt to the changing workplace. So as you are progressing through this degree, we provide opportunities to practice critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Now, the next area are literacy skills. Now, literacy is sort of, when you think about the idea of, like, say, the being able to read or being literate, understanding read and being able to speak and whatnot, that we're kind of not focusing necessarily on the content, but that you can access the content. So a lot of this is really practicing the skills so that you know how to access this in order to do what it is that you need to do in the workplace. So here we have information literacy. How do I know what is good information, bad information, real news, fake news, to use that sort of vernacular that's going on right now? And then the media. How do I use the media? How do I gather that information? How do I select media venues to listen to? What do I set aside? And finally, technology. Being able to use technology to get information. And this is being device agnostic, meaning I can use any brand of device. I can use a Windows device, I can use an Android device, I can use an Apple, I can use an iOS, I can use whatever. As long as I have a device, I can figure it out. That goes into that critical thinking and problem solving as well. But that I understand how computers work, how I save files, how I can format things on a computer. I understand all of those things, and armed with those skills, put any machine in front of me and I can probably figure it out. Now the last part are life skills. And these have a lot to do with your personality, have a lot to do with emphasizing the positive aspects of your personality, but it also entails some risk taking. So first, flexibility. Are you rigid in your thinking? It's like, this is my way, I'm going to do it, this is the way it's always been done. That will not be successful. It's going to be, okay, my ideas, some of my values, some of what I think is true. I need to be able to be light on my feet and be able to move. So I need to be flexible. I need to be able to respond to changing situations. Leadership. Now, leadership, you don't necessarily need to be in a leadership role to do leadership. You don't need to be the boss to be a leader. You can be a leader in the team. You can be a leader in your own life, making decisions and planning, all the aspects of leadership, giving yourself the opportunity to succeed that way. Then we have initiative. Initiative is you see something, you see a problem, address it. This is probably, in my own experience, one of the greatest complaints that people have in the modern workplace is if, sometimes people come into the workplace and if they're not told exactly what to do, they just stand there. And the supervisors are like, look around. There's plenty to do. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, at least you're working, kind of thing. And and they can guide you that way. But take initiative. You want something to be different, talk about it. You want to do some extra work, do it. These are going to be very key skills that your employer is going to look for. Next, we have productivity, and this is get it done and get it done in a timely fashion. This is the one. This one drives me crazy because it's the one I fight with. These videos, I'm trying to get things done, trying to get everything that I have, all my goals done, get little steps, break things up, get things done. Don't procrastinate. The world is not going to be gentle with procrastinators. It's not a personality trait. It's not something that they're going to have to accommodate to. They want people to get things done. Now, the last one relates to communication skills, and these are social skills. Now, social skills involve a couple things. First, the ability to communicate effectively with people in email, in writing, on the phone, in video conferencing. We're seeing a lot of those skills develop here. This is, one of the great things about the pandemic is force us to communicate in different ways and thus be more flexible. The second thing in terms of social skills has to do with emotional intelligence, and that's being able to hold it together under pressure, to be able to manage your emotional place when you encounter others that might be offensive or saying things you don't like or don't agree with, or you're in situations that you don't like and agree with, and being able to hold it together and being able to recognize other people's emotions and be able to respond to those appropriately. So as you engage this week and you're looking at each one of these, what I'm going to have you do is a self-assessment. I want you to go through each one of these and you're going to produce a document. And that document is going to tell me, as if I'm your employer, and I said, I want you to demonstrate, what do you have in terms of all of these skills? What evidence do you have, either with stories, or you took a training maybe, or it was in class or whatever? I want you to tell me where you're at with each one of these. And why would I hire you instead of another person? So just to practice in terms of writing out your skills, your experience, your situations that lead to this. They do not need to be work related. You could have a family situation that reflects how flexible you are. You could have a work situation that demonstrates your leadership. You could have a school situation that demonstrates your information literacy. You can have from your whole life becomes part of this resume of 21st century skills. You should also see gaps. You should see, I don't quite have a lot of leadership. There's only these situations, and you should note that in the paper. This is something I still need to work on. Do not default to that. Every one of you is going to have an experience that relates to any one of these. The key is to be able to look at your life experience and write it out in a way that reflects these particular skills. Many of you, I'm assuming all of us, need to work on these things. So I want to see a summary of what you've got now that you would actually summarize in your resume or in the documents that would accompany your resume. And then With that, I want you to evaluate where are your needs, where can things become even better, what kind of opportunities are you looking for. So let's say, for example, your leadership skills were not as many. What leadership opportunity do you have in this program so that you can experience that? So you might lead a service learning project. You might take lead on an initiative. That'd be knock two of them out right there. You might take lead in a group, and then you see these opportunities and you have the initiative in this program to do those things to build this part of your resume. And I will tell you, employers will look at this document. If you construct a resume of 21st century skills and you document all of these and you attach that to your resume, it doesn't have to be the focus of your resume, but you attach that as an addendum to your resume, that will catch the eye of modern employers no matter what job you're applying for. So this is a very, very important part of you building the documentation that will justify why they should hire you and not the next person. So engage in this, think deeply about this, do the paper, use the discussion to ask questions and throw ideas out there. You're not competing with your other students. This is a collaborative opportunity. If you have an idea, like say, how would I put babysitting on here? Where would that fit? Or how do I, I've taken care of animals my whole life. Where does that fit in this kind of thing? There you go. Share that information, help each other build the best 21st century skill resume you can have.